I have had several people inquire about this little camera arm that I have set up over here next to the power hammer. It's a great thing for taking pictures just right at the power hammer or zooming in on the anvil. It's kind of out of the way. There's no tripod legs to trip over. It's been kind of a handy thing to have. And I never really covered its exact construction because it's really just a fabrication process. The only forged items on here is the little wing nut and the thumb screw, and we have done videos on those, but we haven't really talked about this. So today I'm working on making a second one of these camera brackets, and I thought I would just show the general dimensions, the size material I'm using, and how it's put together. It's not going to be a complete how-to. I'm not going to go through how to weld or how to drill holes or how to tap screws or any of that kind of stuff. It'll just be enough information that if you know how to fabricate something, you should be able to build something similar to this. Now the little camera arm I'm making today is going to serve two different purposes depending on what I need. One, it'll give me a camera closer to the bench that will have kind of an overhead view of what we're doing at the bench, which is hard to get with a tripod unless you set the tripod right up on the bench and then it's in your way. But it's also because I bought a new, better light. This is still a relatively simple light as video lighting goes. The sky is the limit on what you can spend. Anytime you can get anything for under $100, you're doing a good job. But this is a considerable upgrade compared to the lights that I have. And this is an LED flat panel light. The intensity is adjustable. The color is not. This is a single color light. It's a daylight color light, and that's what I've gone to. All my overhead bulbs are now daylight bulbs. And my other LED lights are also daylight lights. So that's hopefully going to keep everything consistent, which should improve video lighting. But this doesn't go on a tripod or any of my existing light stands because it has a 5/8 stud mount instead of a 1/4-20 threaded mount like everything else I own is. And this is pretty standard for lights. So at some point I'll probably buy light stands that this will go on, but I ordered this just as a light head. I didn't buy a whole kit with stands and all that kind of stuff. But the ideal place for this is right up over here, just out of the camera. And I don't have any way to put it over there. A stand over there might be in the way even if I had the stand. So this little camera arm should be just the thing. And I want to make it adaptable so I can swap that 5/8 stud off of it and put a ball head on that would be similar to what I have on the other mount. In fact, it would be the same model ball head. I have several of these, and they're really handy to have things that use the same quick connect plate. So with that said, let me show you what I got going on here. Let me put this away. Once we get this set up, it may never go back in the case again, but for now. So this is one of those projects that is largely just based on what I had at hand when I built the first one, and I had enough materials to do a second one. This is 3/4 inch, 1/8 inch wall tubing, so nothing special, not real heavy. This isn't for big heavy camera, these are for the lighter cameras, and that light does not weigh all that much either. And I've got a piece of 3/4 inch round bar that I've bored a hole through on the lathe, and I will cut two little pieces of this off that weld in these notches that I've ground, and that allows this then to stack one on top of the other, and that's the pivot point. I'll show you what that looks like when it's all done. One of these arms then mounts to this tube that has a 3/8 nut welded to it, and that will go on there just like that. And this is what then allows this to slide up and down a 3/4 inch bar. And the bar can be any length you want. It can go floor to ceiling. There's no need in this application because it's going to light this bench right where we are here. And having a way to slide this camera all the way to the floor just doesn't seem very useful to me. So this is a fairly short bar. It's about 3 feet long. The end for the camera to mount on will just go on the end of this, and I will cut a little disc out of this piece of 3/8 flat bar. I've already drilled a hole for a 3/8 bolt, which is what the ball head takes, and the mount that I'm going to put the light on will also go on a 3/8 threaded fitting. So this will be a standard for either one of those, and it should work great. I've traced the bottom of the ball head, so I'm going to cut that out, make a little disc. I'm going to cut 2 of these to length. I'm going to weld those on there. And we will weld, probably this way, the rod on the mounts. Just make sure you put this on there before you weld that up. Well, that nearly completes this little mount. There's still a few things it needs. I'll make a thumb screw and a wing nut to go with this so that I've got the nice hand-forged hardware instead of a regular wrench to make some of those adjustments. The other thing I need is a special ball mount. The one that's on there works with a little action camera or a little mirrorless camera just fine. But since this is really meant for a light, and the light that I want to put up there has a 5/8 stud mount instead of the more conventional 1/4-20 mount. In fact, once you get into bigger lights, this seems to be what you find. And that's really what this arm is going to be for. So I have a ball head of sorts that threads onto the 3/8-16 bolt that's sticking out of that mount right where the ball head goes, and then has a pivot point and a 5/8 stud mount for the light, so I'll be able to mount this light up there and have the same kind of freedom of movement I get from the ball head. That light mount also has provisions to attach an umbrella, which is something that's used for either reflecting or diffusing lights, which might take some of the harshness and the shadows out of the image that we get here. It's kind of hard to say one way or the other exactly how all this is going to work out until I get it completely set up and try it. But as far as building the little camera arm, that pretty much covers it. Now, if you're a welder or a fabricator, you're just comfortable with fabricating stuff, you might be able to come up with a version of this that works even better, whether it's for a shop light, something to hang a flex shaft tool on, video lights, video cameras. If you are making something for a video camera and you happen to be on the Facebook group for the YouTube Blacksmithing Collective, that'd be a great place to post it. I would love to see your version of an arm like this. I still have 3 or 4 places around the shop I would like to have little arms just for mounting small cameras, something over by the vise, something closer to the hydraulic press, maybe one on the other side of the power hammer. But I can see a lot of use for things like this once I get around to building them. So if there are better ideas out there, I'd love to see them. But for now, I have talked on long enough about this subject. So if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button. Feel free to stick around, watch a few of the other videos, share the videos with your friends, but then by all means, make time to get out to your shop, make something, even if it's just a small shop improvement, but do so safely, wear your safety glasses, and we'll see you for the next one.